In the quiet corners of a small Italian town, two remarkable souls left their mark on the world in ways that defy ordinary understanding. Picture this: a humble priest with the stigmata, Padre Pio, known for his deep faith and miraculous gifts. Now imagine a young tech-savvy boy, Carlo Acutis, who used his passion for computers to spread the message of God. Together, they weave a story of faith that transcends time and space. As you walk through the solemn halls of Padre Pio's tomb, the air thickens with reverence. One can almost hear the whispers of prayers, echoing the thoughts of a man who understood suffering and grace on a profound level. It's said that Padre Pio believed every wound bore a story, a connection to the divine. Now add Carlo into the mix. His belief that the internet could be a tool for spreading goodness and faith is nothing short of extraordinary. He envisioned a world where technology meets spirituality, where the sacred is just a click away. What if these two met? What wisdom would they share? Their combined legacies challenge us to look beyond the surface and discover the extraordinary in the everyday. Isn't it fascinating how faith can bridge generations? Padre Pio, a life of deep spirituality. Padre Pio, one of the most beloved saints in the Catholic Church, is often remembered for his profound spirituality and extraordinary gifts that he received from God. His life was characterized by an intense faith, a constant search for union with Christ in every moment. It's fascinating to think about how he dedicated his life to prayer and service, embodying the essence of what it means to live a Christian life. He didn't just preach about faith, he lived it out daily, illustrating his belief that every moment is an opportunity to deepen one's relationship with God. When people recall Padre Pio, it's impossible not to think about his dedication to the sacrament of confession. He had a unique gift for helping people reconcile with God, and many sought him out for spiritual guidance. He viewed the sacrament of confession as an open door to divine mercy, a sacred space where souls could find peace and renewal. His ability to read people's hearts and guide them through their struggles was nothing short of miraculous. It's as if he had a direct line to God, one that allowed him to offer hope and healing to countless individuals. His understanding of confession wasn't simply about absolving sins, it was about transformation. Padre Pio believed that through confession, individuals could experience a profound change in their lives. He often reminded people that this sacrament is not just a ritual, but a powerful encounter with God's love. His emphasis on this practice helped many realize the importance of seeking forgiveness and striving for a closer relationship with Christ. In his eyes, confession was a beautiful opportunity for renewal, a moment to start anew. Moreover, Padre Pio's life was a testament to his unwavering faith in the power of prayer. He spent hours in prayer, believing that communication with God was essential for strengthening his spiritual mission. He often said that prayer is the key that opens the doors of heaven. This belief was not just theoretical for him, it was a guiding principle that shaped his actions and inspired those around him. Witnessing his commitment to prayer, many were encouraged to deepen their own prayer lives and cultivate a genuine relationship with God. As we reflect on Padre Pio's life, we can see how he exemplified the essence of what it means to be a faithful follower of Christ. His legacy serves as a reminder of the transformative power of faith, confession, and prayer. In a world that often feels chaotic and disconnected, Padre Pio's example encourages us to seek out that same connection with God, to embrace the opportunities for renewal, and to live our faith with the same intensity he did. Carlo Acutis, a modern faith. In contrast to Padre Pio's traditional context, Carlo Acutis represents a new generation of saints who engaged with the modern world in unique ways. Carlo, a young boy who lived in the digital age, found innovative ways to spread the message of the gospel. One of his most notable contributions was the creation of a website dedicated to Eucharistic miracles. This project not only showcased his deep love for the Eucharist, but also highlighted how faith and technology can coexist. Carlo had a clear vision: to show that the wonders of God can be shared in contemporary ways, making the faith accessible to everyone. What's particularly striking about Carlo is how he embodied a deep devotion to the Eucharist, much like Padre Pio. He spent countless hours in prayer before the Blessed Sacrament, reflecting on the significance of the Eucharist in his life. Despite his young age, Carlo understood that this sacrament was central to his faith, and he sought to share that understanding with others. His dedication to prayer and the Eucharist was not just a personal endeavor, it was a call to others to recognize the importance of these aspects of faith in their own lives. Carlo's approach to faith was refreshing, particularly for a generation often criticized for being disconnected from spiritual practices. He showed that even in a world dominated by screens and technology, it is possible to maintain a vibrant and authentic faith. His ability to navigate the digital landscape while remaining true to his beliefs serves as an inspiring model for young people today. Carlo's life reminds us that faith can be lived out in various contexts and that modern tools can be used to further God's message. Both Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis were deeply committed to their relationship with Christ, yet they expressed this devotion in ways that reflected their respective eras. They teach us that no matter the time or place, the essence of faith remains the same. Whether through the traditional practices of confession and prayer or through innovative digital expressions, the goal is to bring oneself closer to God. Carlo's dedication to spreading the message of the Eucharist through his website is a testament to the idea that faith can and should evolve while retaining its core values. As we consider the lives of these two saints, we can appreciate the richness of their spiritual journeys. They inspire us to embrace our own faith in a way that resonates with our lives, encouraging us to use the gifts and tools available to us for the glory of God. Carlo Acutis, with his youthful enthusiasm and creativity, invites us to find new and exciting ways to engage with our faith, just as Padre Pio did in his time. The power of prayer in their lives. Both Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis teach us invaluable lessons about the importance of prayer. Padre Pio was known for spending long hours in prayer, believing that this intimate conversation with God was essential for fulfilling his spiritual mission. His life demonstrated that prayer was not merely a routine, it was a powerful lifeline that connected him to God and fueled his ability to serve others. He often emphasized that prayer is the key that opens the doors of heaven, highlighting its significance in our spiritual lives. In a world that often feels busy and overwhelming, Padre Pio's commitment to prayer serves as a reminder that taking time to connect with God is crucial. He encouraged his followers to cultivate a regular prayer life, emphasizing that through prayer we find strength, guidance, and comfort. His deep connection with God allowed him to navigate the challenges of life with grace and resilience, and he inspired many to do the same. Through his example, we learn that prayer can transform our hearts and minds, equipping us to face life's trials with faith. Carlo Acutis, despite his youth, also demonstrated a profound understanding of the power of prayer. He spent time in silence and reflection, seeking God's presence in his daily life. Carlo showed that even young people could have an intense prayer life, underscoring that age is not a barrier to spiritual depth. His ability to find moments of stillness in a fast-paced world is a lesson for all of us. It reminds us that prayer can take many forms, and it is about the quality of our heart's intention rather than the quantity of our words. Both saints underscore that prayer is not just about asking for things, it is about building a relationship with God. Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis found solace and strength in their conversations with God, and they invite us to do the same. They remind us that prayer is a vital component of our faith journey, one that enriches our lives and deepens our understanding of God's love. Their lives encourage us to prioritize prayer, to seek those quiet moments where we can connect with the divine. As we reflect on the lessons from Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis, we are reminded of the transformative power of prayer. Their examples inspire us to cultivate a rich prayer life, embracing the opportunities that prayer provides for growth, healing, and connection. In doing so, we can draw nearer to God just as they did, and find our own strength and purpose through the incredible gift of prayer. Acceptance of suffering. An essential aspect of Padre Pio's life was his acceptance of suffering. Throughout his journey, he faced numerous trials and tribulations, including physical ailments and personal struggles. However, he viewed suffering not as a burden but as a means to unite himself with Christ crucified. Padre Pio often shared that suffering is a pathway to purification, urging others to embrace their trials with love and understanding. His perspective on suffering was deeply rooted in his faith, demonstrating that even the most challenging experiences can lead to spiritual growth. Padre Pio frequently reminded his followers that suffering has a purpose. He believed that, through our pain, we could draw closer to God and experience His love in profound ways. This acceptance of suffering allowed him to endure hardships with grace, and he became a source of inspiration for many who were struggling. His ability to transform pain into a means of connection with Christ showcases the power of faith in the face of adversity. Carlo Acutis too faced his share of challenges, particularly concerning his health. Even as he battled illness, he maintained an unwavering trust in God's goodness. His strength during difficult times serves as a powerful testament to the impact of faith on our ability to cope with suffering. Carlo's example encourages us to lean on God during our trials, reminding us that we are never alone in our struggles. The way both saints embrace suffering speaks volumes about their characters. They understood that life would not always be easy, but they chose to view challenges as opportunities for growth. Their attitudes remind us that suffering can lead to deeper spiritual insights and a more profound relationship with God. Rather than shying away from pain, they taught that it can be a catalyst for transformation and a means to draw closer to Christ. In reflecting on the lives of Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis, we are called to reconsider our own attitudes towards suffering. Their examples compel us to embrace our challenges with faith and courage, understanding that, like them, we can find purpose in our pain. Their legacies remind us that suffering can be redemptive, guiding us toward a more profound experience of God's love and presence in our lives. Humility and service. Humility is a central virtue in the lives of both Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis. Padre Pio consistently regarded himself as a simple instrument in the importance of prayer. Both Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis teach us valuable lessons about the significance of prayer in our lives. Padre Pio, a man of profound faith, dedicated long hours to prayer, believing it to be essential for his spiritual mission. He often emphasized that prayer is the key that opens the gates of heaven. For him, every moment spent in dialogue with God was an opportunity to strengthen his relationship with the divine. He would say that prayer not only nourished his soul, but also empowered him to carry out his work of healing and reconciliation. It was through prayer that he found clarity and strength to face the challenges that came his way. On the other hand, Carlo Acutis demonstrated that even a young person could cultivate a rich prayer life. Despite his age, he embraced moments of silence and reflection, seeking God's presence in his daily activities. Carlo's approach to prayer was not just about rituals, but about fostering a genuine relationship with God. He understood that prayer could be both intimate and communal, blending personal devotion with shared worship. Carlo's ability to integrate prayer into his life amidst the distractions of the modern world serves as an encouragement for young people today to prioritize their spiritual lives. Both figures remind us that prayer is not merely a practice, but a vital lifeline that connects us to God. It is through prayer that we find peace, wisdom, and guidance. Padre Pio's insistence on the importance of prayer resonates in a world where distractions are abundant. He believed that authentic prayer could transform lives, drawing us closer to God and allowing us to experience His love and mercy. Similarly, Carlo's commitment to prayer showcases how even the simplest acts of devotion can lead to profound spiritual growth. Moreover, prayer acts as a foundation for both of their lives, offering solace during times of trial. For Padre Pio, prayer was a refuge during his suffering, providing him with the strength to endure hardships while remaining steadfast in his faith. Carlo faced his own health challenges, and his dedication to prayer helped him navigate those difficulties with grace and trust in God's plan. Their stories emphasize that prayer can be a source of comfort and resilience, reminding us that we are never alone in our struggles. Ultimately, the examples set by Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis inspire us to develop our own prayer habits. They encourage us to carve out time in our busy lives for personal reflection and communion with God. Whether through traditional prayers, contemplative silence, or spontaneous conversations with God, we are invited to deepen our relationship with the divine. By prioritizing prayer, we can cultivate a spiritual life that enriches not only our own souls but also the lives of those around us. Connection with angels and saints. The relationship that Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis had with angels and saints adds another layer of depth to their spiritual journeys. Padre Pio was known for his special devotion to these celestial beings, often speaking of their constant presence and intercession in our lives. He believed that angels were not just abstract figures, but active participants in our spiritual battles, guiding us toward God's grace. His connection with the heavenly realm was palpable. Many who sought his counsel felt a strong sense of peace and protection through his prayers. Padre Pio often encouraged others to cultivate their own relationships with the angels, reminding them that they could call upon these protectors in times of need. Similarly, Carlo Acutis showcased a profound connection with the saints throughout his short life. He admired their virtues and sought to emulate their examples, especially those who had a deep love for the Eucharist. Carlo viewed the Eucharist as the most extraordinary miracle, and he frequently turned to saints for inspiration and guidance. His ability to draw strength from these holy figures, even as a teenager, serves as a powerful reminder that we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses who can support us in our faith journeys. Carlo's website, which documented miracles related to the Eucharist, reflects his desire to share these stories of divine intervention and support with others. Both Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis remind us that we are not alone in our faith. The communion of saints is a vital aspect of Catholic spirituality, and it offers us tangible connections to those who have walked the path before us. By invoking the intercession of saints and angels, we tap into a rich tradition of support and encouragement. This connection can be particularly comforting during difficult times when we may feel isolated or overwhelmed. Knowing that we have a host of heavenly allies can empower us to persevere in our spiritual journeys. Moreover, the examples set by these two saints inspire us to foster our own relationships with angels and saints. Padre Pio's life was marked by a deep reverence for these celestial beings, and he often encouraged others to cultivate their own connections through prayer and devotion. Carlo, through his youthful exuberance and enthusiasm, showed that anyone can develop a rich spiritual life, regardless of age. By learning about and seeking the intercession of saints, we can deepen our faith and enhance our spiritual lives. Ultimately, the legacies of Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis serve as an invitation for us to embrace the support of the heavenly realm. Their lives remind us that the angels and saints are not distant figures but loving companions on our journey of faith. By engaging with this rich spiritual heritage, we can find encouragement and strength to navigate the challenges of life, bolstered by the knowledge that we are part of a much larger story of faith and love. Acceptance of suffering. One of the most profound aspects of Padre Pio's life was his acceptance of suffering, which he viewed as a means of uniting himself with Christ crucified. Throughout his life, he faced numerous physical and emotional trials, yet he embraced these challenges with a spirit of love and sacrifice. Padre Pio often remarked that suffering could lead to spiritual growth and purification. He believed that through suffering, one could draw closer to God and become more attuned to His will. This perspective on suffering was not merely theoretical for Padre Pio. It was a lived experience that shaped his ministry and interactions with others. In many ways, Carlo Acutis mirrored this acceptance of suffering in his own life. Despite his young age, Carlo faced health challenges that would ultimately lead to his early death. Rather than succumbing to despair, he maintained a steadfast trust in God's goodness. Carlo's ability to respond to suffering with hope and faith serves as a powerful example for those grappling with their own difficulties. He often found solace in the Eucharist, allowing it to be a source of strength and comfort during painful moments. His joyful spirit amidst suffering reminds us that our trials can lead to deeper encounters with God. Both saints teach us that suffering can serve a purpose in our spiritual lives. Padre Pio's teachings encourage us to view our own struggles as opportunities for transformation. When we encounter pain or hardship, we are invited to reflect on how these experiences can draw us closer to God and shape our character. Similarly, Carlo's life exemplifies the notion that embracing suffering with grace can lead to profound spiritual insight. His perspective encourages us to find meaning in our struggles, rather than viewing them as mere obstacles. Moreover, the acceptance of suffering is a testament to the strength of faith. Padre Pio and Carlo demonstrate that true courage lies not in the absence of pain, but in our ability to face it with conviction and trust in God's plan. Their lives inspire us to approach our own challenges with resilience, knowing that we are not alone in our suffering. They remind us that God walks with us in our trials, providing comfort and guidance along the way. Ultimately, the examples of Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis challenge us to reconsider our relationship with suffering. Rather than seeking to avoid pain at all costs, we are invited to embrace it as part of the human experience. By doing so, we can cultivate a deeper reliance on God, allowing our struggles to become pathways to grace and transformation. Their legacies inspire us to confront suffering with courage and faith, recognizing it as a means of drawing closer to the divine. Humility as a central virtue. Humility stands out as a central virtue in the lives of both Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis. For Padre Pio, humility was not just a personal attribute, but a fundamental aspect of his spiritual identity. He often referred to himself as a simple instrument in God's hands, emphasizing that any gifts or talents he possessed were not for his glory, but for God's purpose. Despite the fame and recognition he received, Padre Pio remained grounded, always redirecting the focus toward God's love and mercy. His humility inspired countless individuals, reminding them that true greatness lies in serving others and living a life of authenticity. Carlo Acutis exhibited a similar spirit of humility throughout his life. Despite his remarkable accomplishments, especially in the realm of technology and faith, Carlo never sought personal glory. Instead, he used his talents to serve others, especially in sharing the message of the Eucharist. His humility allowed him to connect with people from all walks of life as he approached everyone with kindness and openness. Carlo's authenticity and willingness to serve others resonate with the core message of humility, which calls us to recognize our interconnectedness and the importance of lifting one another up. Both figures remind us that humility is not a sign of weakness, but a profound strength that fosters genuine relationships and deeper connections with God. By embracing humility, we open ourselves to the grace of God, allowing His love to flow through us. Padre Pio's life serves as a testament to how humility can transform our interactions with others, encouraging us to remain open to learning and growth. Carlo's example highlights the joy that comes from serving others selflessly, reminding us that true fulfillment is found in living for something greater than ourselves. Moreover, humility invites us to confront our limitations and acknowledge our dependence on God. Padre Pio's acknowledgement of his weaknesses allowed him to rely on God's strength in his ministry. Similarly, Carlo's youthfulness and vulnerability remind us that we are never too young or inexperienced to make a difference. Both saints encourage us to humility as a central virtue. Humility stands out as a central virtue in the lives of both Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis. Padre Pio often referred to himself as a mere instrument in God's hands. He did not seek recognition or fame. Instead, his primary desire was to fulfill the will of the Lord. This humility allowed him to connect deeply with those around him, as he always emphasized the importance of serving others rather than elevating oneself. His life was a testament to the idea that true greatness lies in the ability to submit to divine providence and serve the needs of others with love and compassion. Carlo Acutis exhibited a similar sense of humility throughout his brief life. Despite his numerous talents, he remained grounded and genuine. He utilized technology not for self-promotion, but as a tool to share the message of the gospel. Carlo understood that serving others, whether through sharing his faith online or helping his peers, was far more significant than any personal accolades he might receive. His authenticity and simplicity remind us that anyone, regardless of age or status, can embody humility and make a positive impact in the world. Both figures teach us that humility is not about thinking less of ourselves, but about thinking of ourselves less. They show that being humble opens us up to a greater understanding of our purpose in life, allowing us to focus on what truly matters, loving God and serving our fellow human beings. This mindset cultivates a sense of peace and fulfillment that transcends worldly achievements. In a society that often glorifies self-promotion, their lives serve as a counter-narrative, encouraging us to find joy in serving others. Moreover, the humility of Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis also enabled them to accept their limitations and the challenges that life presented to them. Padre Pio, despite his extraordinary gifts, faced significant trials and tribulations, including physical suffering and misunderstandings. Yet he embraced these challenges with grace, seeing them as opportunities to grow closer to Christ. Carlo, too, dealt with health issues that ultimately led to his early passing, but he maintained a joyful spirit and a focus on his mission to spread God's love. Their humility allowed them to navigate their struggles without losing sight of their faith and their calling. In essence, the humility exemplified by Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis serves as a powerful reminder for all of us. It encourages us to embrace our roles as servants in God's plan, to approach life with an open heart, and to understand that the true measure of success lies not in accolades, but in the love we share with others. Their examples inspire us to cultivate humility in our own lives, fostering a deeper relationship with God and our community. ### The impact of their presence today. The presence of Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis continues to resonate with countless individuals today. Many people find themselves drawn to the lives of these two saints, seeking their intercession in times of need. The stories of miracles attributed to Padre Pio and the numerous graces reported through Carlo's intercession speak volumes about their ongoing influence. It's as if they are reminding us that the divine is ever present and active in our lives, encouraging us to keep faith even in challenging times. When individuals visit the tomb of Padre Pio, they often experience a profound sense of peace and connection with the saint. His life of prayer and devotion left a lasting mark on the world, and people from all walks of life come to seek his intercession. This pilgrimage to his tomb is not just about honoring a saint, it's about experiencing the transformative power of faith. Many leave with renewed hope, having felt the presence of God through Padre Pio's intercession. This is a testament to how his legacy continues to inspire and uplift those who seek solace in their spiritual journeys. Similarly, the tomb of Carlo Acutis in Assisi has become a significant pilgrimage site, attracting young people and families alike. Visitors are often struck by Carlo's relatability. He was a young person who embraced his faith in a modern context, using technology to spread the message of Christ. The environment of his tomb invites people to reflect on their own lives and how they can embody their faith in everyday situations. This connection fosters a sense of community among visitors who share their stories and experiences of faith, inspired by Carlo's example. In both cases, the presence of these saints serves as a bridge between the divine and the everyday. They remind us that holiness is not reserved for a select few, but is attainable for everyone. Their lives encourage us to seek out our own paths to holiness, to embrace our faith actively, and to recognize the divine in the ordinary. Whether through prayer, service, or simply living out our daily lives with love, we are invited to participate in the same mission that guided Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis. Ultimately, the ongoing influence of Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis serves as a beacon of hope for the faithful. They remind us that we are never alone on our journey, and that the saints are always ready to intercede for us. Their stories inspire us to cultivate our own faith, to share our experiences with others, and to trust in God's presence in our lives. The enduring impact of their presence encourages a vibrant and dynamic faith that continues to flourish in today's world. Miracles and graces in their names. The miracles attributed to Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis are compelling stories that illustrate the power of faith and intercession. Padre Pio is known for numerous documented miracles, including healings that defy medical explanations. People from all over the world have reported experiencing profound transformations and healings after seeking his intercession, often attributing these miracles to his prayers. The testimonials surrounding these events have solidified his reputation as a powerful intercessor, inspiring many to turn to him in times of need. Carlo Acutis, though he lived a shorter life, has also been associated with several miraculous events. Many individuals claim to have received graces after praying to him, especially in the context of technology and youth. His life as a tech-savvy teenager who used the internet to promote the faith resonates with younger generations, making him a relatable figure. Stories of people finding clarity in their faith, overcoming personal struggles, or experiencing inexplicable healings after invoking Carlo's name highlight the impact he continues to have on the faithful. These miracles and graces serve as powerful reminders of God's active presence in our lives. They encourage believers to have faith in the intercession of the saints. The stories of healing and transformation surrounding both Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis inspire us to approach our own challenges with hope. They demonstrate that, through prayer and the intercession of these saints, we can experience the love and mercy of God in tangible ways. Moreover, the miracles attributed to these saints also foster a sense of community among the faithful. When people share their stories of graces received, it creates a collective narrative of faith that strengthens the bonds within the Church. This sense of communion encourages others to share their experiences, fostering a culture of gratitude and acknowledgement of God's blessings. As more individuals testify to the miracles they have witnessed, the legacy of both Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis continues to grow, inspiring even more people to seek their intercession. In essence, the miracles and graces associated with Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis serve as powerful testimonies of the divine working in our world. They remind us of the importance of faith, prayer, and community in our spiritual journeys. Through their intercession, We are invited to believe in the extraordinary power of God and to trust that we too can experience His love and mercy in our lives. Pilgrimage sites and their significance. The pilgrimage sites associated with Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis have become sacred spaces for many, offering opportunities for reflection, prayer, and a deeper connection to God. Padre Pio's tomb in San Giovanni Rotondo attracts thousands of pilgrims each year, all seeking to honor his memory and experience the grace that flows from his life. The atmosphere there is often charged with a palpable sense of faith, as visitors come to pray, light candles, and share their stories of hope and healing. This communal aspect of pilgrimage allows individuals to feel supported in their spiritual journeys, surrounded by others who share similar beliefs. In Assisi, Carlo Acutis' tomb has similarly become a hub of pilgrimage, particularly for young people. Many are drawn to Carlo's relatability and his message that faith can thrive in the modern world. The site has been designed to be welcoming and accessible, making it easy for visitors to engage with Carlo's story and reflect on their own faith journeys. The significance of this pilgrimage site lies not only in honoring a saint, but also in fostering an environment where people can explore their spirituality in a contemporary context. Both pilgrimage sites serve as reminders of the universal call to holiness. They encourage individuals to contemplate their own lives and how they can live out their faith authentically. The presence of saints like Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis invites pilgrims to reflect on the ways they can grow closer to God, whether through prayer, service, or community involvement. This introspection often leads to a renewed commitment to living out one's faith in everyday life. Furthermore, the pilgrimage experiences often result in profound transformations for those who visit these sites. Many report feeling a sense of peace, clarity, or inspiration after spending time in prayer and reflection. The environment surrounding these tombs becomes a sacred space where individuals can confront their struggles and seek guidance from the saints. This transformative aspect of pilgrimage highlights the importance of intentional spiritual practices in fostering personal growth and deepening one's relationship with God. In conclusion, the pilgrimage sites of Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis offer meaningful experiences that allow individuals to connect with their faith on a deeper level. These sacred spaces serve as reminders of the living tradition of the Church, where the faithful can come together to honor the saints and seek their intercession. Through these pilgrimages, believers are encouraged to reflect on their own journeys. As we reflect on the remarkable lives of Padre Pio and Carlo Acutis, we find ourselves drawn into a tapestry of faith that transcends time. Imagine the serene atmosphere surrounding Padre Pio's tomb, a place where countless souls seek solace and inspiration. It's as if the air itself hums with the prayers of those who have come seeking comfort and healing. Padre Pio, with his deep understanding of human suffering, often spoke about the power of faith in overcoming life's trials. Now picture Carlo Acutis, a modern-day saint who embraced technology to spread the message of God. His joyful spirit and innovative approach to faith resonate with today's youth. Could there be a more powerful duo? Together, they remind us that holiness can be found in both the quiet moments of prayer and the vibrant world of digital connection. So what can we learn from their extraordinary journeys? What lessons can we carry into our everyday lives? As you ponder these questions, think about how you can embody their teachings. Are you ready to embrace your own unique path to holiness? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your journey could inspire someone else to find their way too. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep believing.